Whether it's a galaxy, a solar system, an atom, or a human, it's all the same relative structure. Let me say it again. A galaxy, a solar system, planet Earth, a human, atoms, particles, they're all the same relative structure scaled up and down. But you might say not even galaxies are all the same kind of structure. Yes, they are. There are young galaxies, old galaxies, and galaxies that have interacted with each other or their environment. Galaxies are thought to collide, but you might say the planets in a solar system act nothing like electrons in an atom, and this is where I will remind you all of the term relativity. If you didn't know, an atom is very small compared to a solar system or a galaxy. I mean, this is just about the top of the macro, and this is just about the bottom of the micro. And so we will invoke relativity because not everything is the same size. And it largely comes down to mass. But our whole universe has a set of laws. Hey, that looks like a toroid because it is one. Funny thing about this universe is that the energy and mass is distributed equally on all levels. Doesn't matter how far you zoom in or how far you zoom out. In the teeny tiniest patch, in the largest, grandest patch, you're going to find the energy and mass is distributed equally on all levels. And the laws of physics are organizing that energy and mass into the same structure on all levels because it's the same laws on all levels and the same distribution of energy and mass. Do y'all know what laws mean? This will follow these laws and organize into the same structures on all levels. They must do because there's one set of laws. And the energy and mass is distributed equally on all levels. Right? If the organizing instructions are the same everywhere, and the materials and the amount of energy you have to put them together is the same everywhere, and you're building those structures by these instructions everywhere, it's toroids all the way down, fam. I'm not making that up. You see? But the planets of a solar system do not act like the electrons of an atom. Planets take sure orbits, while electrons are cloud probabilities. An electron does not take a path in orbit around the nucleus like a moon takes a path in orbit around the Earth. The moon is a solid object. The electron is a little squiggling point of electricity, but it has mass, so we'll call it physical. It's an electrically charged particle. It's not a solid anything. As a matter of fact, you need electrons and atoms to produce what we call solid. It's about how fast or slow they're vibrating. Makes them either solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. And so even there we see how one thing, atoms, working together of course, can produce many states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and that solid, liquid, gas, and plasma are all fundamentally different, but truly it's just the same structure vibrating faster and faster and faster. The atom. The molecule. The molecule is a similar structure to the atom, it's just made of atoms rather than particles. The laws of physics organizing the smallest areas of energy and mass into structures, to organize those structures into larger structures, to organize those structures into larger structures, the same relative structures as you go, like Russian nesting dolls. The biggest structures are made of the smallest structures. And with relativity, well, you can't take a sun and make a molecule out of it. It's too big. It's made of molecules. The sun is a big ball of plasma. And a big ball of plasma has forces acting upon it called gravity. And because the sun has so much mass, the gravity affects it a lot. And because it has so much mass, well, electricity affects it a little. Matter of fact, it produces electricity. People are going to try to catch me on that. The sun produces charged particles. How about that? In a continual stream called solar wind. You would need a whole lot of electricity to affect the sun at all with it, huh? Where are we going to get that? Solar panels? Come on. But an electron, he's so tiny. He mass so small, gravity doesn't affect him much. He is the same relative structure as the sun, but he's so tiny he have almost no mass. The laws of physics are the same, which dictate how gravity affects the thing based on how big it is or small in mass. And so at the scale of an atom, it is not gravity acting upon this. It is electricity, though, because it's so much smaller than a sun. Gravity cannot act upon it in the way that it does a solar system. The path that the electron takes is not gravitational, like the planets of a solar system or a moon around an Earth. That's a little squiggling bit of energy in a cloud of electromagnetism. But if you scale this structure up, it's a solar system, and of course it doesn't behave exactly the same. The mass of these objects is much more than the mass of the particles. And so it is gravity that acts upon them rather than electricity. But they serve the same relative function in the solar system as the particles serve in the atom. And an atom is not a solar system. An atom is so tiny you can't even see it. Solar system is huge. They're not the same thing. They're the same relative structure. It can be said that an atom is a tiny electric star, and a star is a giant gravitational atom. And smack dab in the middle to scale is a human being, an electric entity bound by gravity, on the Earth, in the solar system, in the galaxy. Which things are Russian nesting dolls. Even if you can say the big one is not the small one, relatively, they are the same. Well, I can only throw the little one about 30 feet. I can throw the big one halfway across the field. It's because they have different mass. And the laws of physics treat things according to how big and small they are. Because the small one isn't the big one after all, and so the small one can't do what the big one can do. And if you find a small hole where you can put the small one in, but the big one won't fit, I thought they were the same relative structure. They are. But the small one can do stuff that the big one can't because it's smaller than the big one. It's really this simple. It really is. Particles are not planets, but they serve the same relative function in two different relative structures, different for size. The grasshopper and the human are the same relative structure with the same relative functions. Even if we appear differently for specialization, we got eyes, ears, a mouth, we procreate, we communicate, we have communities, right? I mean, it's the same relative structure. If I jump off the roof, I'm at least gonna break my legs probably. If the grasshopper jumps off the top of the tree and hits the ground, he's fine. Because my mass and his mass is different. And even though we're here playing by the same rules, gravity affects me differently than it affects him. He can get away with stuff like that because of his mass. Bugs can walk on the water because of their mass. Jesus is the light of the world. Light has no mass. Time also treats things differently based on their mass. That's called relativity. Because time and space are interwoven, and mass distorts space and therefore time. If you take the nucleus out of an atom, it ceases to be an atom immediately. If you take the black hole out of the center of a galaxy, it's going to take a whole bunch of time. The center stars will get flung out. The whole galaxy will redistribute and find its center, and it'll still be there, but it won't be a galaxy anymore because the black hole is the power station that powers the galaxy. Just like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Just like the sun powers the solar system, it's all the same relative structure to scale. Now, I'm already getting bored with myself. So I'm going to end this video here. Only to say every single thing in the universe, including the universe itself, is the same structure to scale. No, it doesn't all act the same. It's not all the same size. That's it. I know there's going to be plenty of people that call themselves even academics that just cannot grasp what I just said. Can't see how an electron could be a tiny sun. Because it doesn't act the same. I know it doesn't. It's okay. Was never supposed to. Okay? Just take some time. Think about these things. Just take some time. Think about that. Do some reading. What I have said here is totally logical. Follows the logic of reality. What I've said can be observed to be true. And I didn't pull any of it out of my own head. Y'all think I just made this stuff up?